Good morning, everyone. Anthony, Wall Street Trader. It's 10:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on December 29, 2021. This is not financial advice. It's educational. Subscribe, hit the bell, share the video, click the thumbs up. Okay, we're here to talk about STORJ. STORJ, STORJ. Particularly not doing okay. And we are starting to come back over this line. We had this nice flag. We went all the way. We broke it since the last video from 206 up to 218, and then came all the way crashing down on the back of a Bitcoin drop, which clearly rattled a lot of the altcoin markets, and many of them did get rattled. Some didn't, but STORJ was one that got particularly rattled. I mean, we hit a high up here of 218, down to 170. You could call it like a 20-something% drop. Now, a couple of things here. One is, let's not overly fear here because we still do have a reasonable long line of support, as we can see over here. So this orange line continues to stay intact. Now, the orange line stinks because it's all the way down to $1.50. But at the same time, reasonably, if you want to infer what has happened in the past, we've almost always went up. In fact, we have always went up. Now, a couple of times we've dipped below in definitely scary situations, but we're actually pretty close to $1.50 now. We've dropped more than that. From $1.78 to $1.50 is a much shorter amount than the drop that we had from 220 down to where we're at right now. So, look, there's a lot of reasons here to be, you could argue that, yeah, we performed very weak in the Bitcoin drop, but there's a lot of reasons still to be very bullish. Look, again, from 217 all the way down to $1.69. And where we are right now, $1.78, if we dropped all the way down, it would be only 26 cents. So it will be a much smaller drop here. You could always wait and see if you want to buy some down here. If it does come down that far, I personally don't think it's going to reach it all the way down there. But we're going to run into the reasons why in a second. But we do have current support around $1.76 and resistance at around $1.96. So let's go over to STORJ Bitcoin and kind of like tease this out a little bit and try to understand what's going on. But definitely we do have, as soon as we broke down here, we just started coming down. We do look like at this point we could be getting some saving grace right around here over the next couple of days at roughly, so the support right now is around 33.86, resistance at 4,000. I think this dual line of support coming into play here, which was this yellow support has been here since October 26th, and this one almost the same amount of time. These two coming together should help this thing along. It's a little further in the future, about a day or so. We'll see how this thing pans out. Now let's go over to Bitcoin because this is the reason why things really hit the fan. Now we did bounce off this green line that we've always had up here. 46,700 or so. I'm not counting pennies here. But reality is that I think we're going to be going much higher. Now, even though I have this broadening wedge and it looks like we dropped into it, if I take my logarithmic scale off, because it is a short-term pattern, sometimes people don't do it this way. They don't use logarithmics for short-term patterns. If I really just redid the broadening wedge to accommodate the new resistance points, we could see we never actually went into the broadening wedge. But it's neither here nor there. It's just a technicality, and just for those who are really interested in seeing that. Now, in the meantime, and I always use logs, so I'm just going to leave it back to where it was. And it looks like we did drop into it in this particular case with the log on, so we'll move on. But I think we're certainly going to be catching a nice bid. Fundamentally, what has happened this week, a lot of people will say it's due to the Federal Reserve taming, plans to help thwart inflation, which we all kind of know probably not the case. Now, usually, if inflation is going to go down and rich people really buy Bitcoin only as an inflation hedge, well, then you could see why Bitcoin might drop a little. But the reality is that inflation will not be cut off instantaneously. It takes years for that to develop. So rich folks are not selling their Bitcoin thinking inflation is going to be under control. And quite honestly, I don't think I know one rich person that would actually believe anything related to that, no matter who in the Federal Reserve would say it. So here's my view. I think this week is particularly related to taxes. Taxes. Rich people care more about taxes than anything else. What they typically will do is they'll look at current year tax code and compare it to next year's tax code, or they'll have their astute accountants do that for them. And what they'll probably realize is that next year, crypto tax laws are naturally going to get more and more stringent as time goes on. So very likely, my view is that this week they'd rather take the realized profit this year than take the realized profit next year, because at least they'll be paying taxes this year, but they'll be paying less taxes than they would next year. So that's exactly what I think is going on here. It's purposely for the tax optimization of the rich. And as we know, most of the funds in Bitcoin today are either with rich people and or with big institutions that are also astute, like rich people. So that's where I think we are headed here. I think Bitcoin is going to rebound sweetly here, but this is the week that is going to be rocky. So it came a little unexpected, but at the same time, the outcome is still the same to me. I think next week into the new year, we're going to start to see a nice rally. This rally is not done with Bitcoin. Look, we're already passing 48K. Yesterday, we were down to 46. I think this thing rockets up into next week. In the meantime, flipping over to Bitcoin dominance has been nothing but boring, and I really don't even want to talk about it unless we have to, but I'll just let you know quickly. This is likely going to go sideways until we catch a real bid in Bitcoin, in which case I think this thing will start going back up. Okay, STORJ. It's a great crypto. Look, this could be a good place to dollar cost average if you were buying it up here in the nosebleed. You might pick a little more up here, and I'd be putting most of my buy down here for what I'm, again, don't spend your rent money on it. I'm not a financial advisor either. This is just how I would do it. But anyway, that's all I've got. Take care. Bye.